All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as promised, I've been creating a series of videos where I'm using a fairly simplistic body mass index or BMI project, and I'm going back and kind of reviewing everything that we've done during our 2-year tenure here. So far I've made a JavaScript BMI program and a jQuery BMI program, and I'm not going to show either one of those. But now it's time to make a couple C#. First, a console program, and I'm not really going to put any error checking in it per se, or very little. And then a C# GUI where we'll put more error checking in. So let's get into Visual Studio, File, New, Project. We'll do a console first, and we'll just call this BMI. Says it already exists in the folder. Oh, that's because I foolishly created it as earlier as a GUI app where I didn't mean to do that. So let's try one more time. File, New, Project, Console, BMI. All right, there's our simple BMI program. You may or may not remember this, but one thing that I do want to add at the top here is using static system.console. And that'll allow me to do all my read lines and write lines. This program is going to be very small, only about 50 lines when I get done. So I'm going to have a constant here. Let's just use ints. Min height, we'll set that equal to 12. Const int max height equal to 96. I used doubles before, but there really isn't any reason to do that. Const int min weight, we'll set that equal to 1. And const int max weight, which we said was going to be equal to 777, again, an arbitrary value that I picked. All right. I'm a little anal about some of this stuff here, so. All right, so those are our constants. So we'll put a comment here that says declare and initialize constants. Now, I'm not going to put it comments here because, hopefully I've made good enough names that they make sense. So make it int height equals 0, int weight equals 0, and again, not that we really need this, but person's height, person's weight. This will be a double. Person's BMI, which again stands for body mass index. We'll put 0.0 there. All right. I'm getting the green squigglies because as of right now I've declared a bunch of stuff and I'm not using it yet. Now, again, this is cheesy. I'm not doing very much validation. I just want to get this one done, and I'll do the validation on the GUI one that I'll create next. So I'm going to say while 1 equal 1, which means basically I want to run the program forever, which is silly, but for what I'm trying to accomplish here, it's okay. Again, is it perfect? By no means. All right, so I'm going to say when I wrote mine, I did not put it into different modules, but I will do that. I'm going to say height equals input height. Now I'm going to get an error here because I haven't yet defined input height. So static double input height. I'm getting an error now because it's supposed to be returning a double and I'm not returning anything. So let's just say return 0. I don't want that to be a double. I'm sorry, that's an int. Okay. So return 0, and then we'll say weight equals input weight, and we'll copy this down. And then we'll have our input weight, where we'll, again, for right now, we'll just return 0. Does not exist in the current contents. Huh. Input weight. Input weight. I think that shouldn't be there. That should be down here. And tab, 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 tab. That's fixed it. Okay. I'm still going to have to write these routines. They're just little stubs right now. So then we'll say BMI equals calculate BMI. And for the BMI, we're going to need both the height and we're going to need the weight. Again, I haven't written this routine yet, and that's why I'm getting that error message. So static double calculate BMI with the height and the weight, and that's going to have to be an int for the height and an int for the weight, and I'm going to have to return here weight divided by math.pow height 2, which means height squared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is right. Times 703.0. 703.0. All right, I think that's all fixed. And then finally, we're going to have a routine that's called display all. And we're going to pass to that routine the height, the weight, and the BMI. Again, we haven't written display all yet, which is why I'm getting that error message. All right, now let's do some work. So for the input height here, we've got return 0. Well, that's silly. I'm going to put here right. Please enter height. Now, I'm not going to be very elaborate here. I'm just going to put in parentheses 12 through 96. Normally, I wouldn't hard code those values in like that, but it's okay for what I'm doing. All right. And then int h equals 0. All right, so write that h equal convert dot to int 32 read line. All right, return h. So that's going to allow me to create a variable that's going to represent the height and then just return it. So I can grab everything that's in here, copy it into here, and just make it a W instead of an H. I could have left it as an H, but, and this is from 1 to 777. All right, so we'll do right line height plus height dot to string weight dot to string and BMI. And that will be the BMI dot to string. All right, that was unbelievably quick, and we're also going to format this so that it's 2 decimal places. All right, I could have made some mistakes. Oh, I didn't. I already can tell I did because I didn't add these. So let's add those right now. In fact, these two can go in here. And I'm going to make one more. And let's see. So please do this. Please do this. If the height that you entered was less than 12 or the height that you entered was greater than 96, all right, so if you entered something that was out of range, I'm going to set it equal to def height. And then we'll return H. That should have been height. Again, I can grab all of this stuff that's here, put it here. This will be fixed in a minute. That'll be grabbing these two and plunking them in right here. Plus I need const int def weight, set it equal to 175. It's got to be a W. It's got to be a W. All right, I think I've gotten rid of all the errors. Let's run it, and then we'll go back and look at it line by line. So here's, I'm saving. It's a console app, so if I put in, anything that's out of range, okay, it just asks me, well, it isn't, oh, I just went and reset it. So you can see these, too much space in there, but that's still not a problem. All right, let's stop the run and make a couple superficial cosmetic changes here. And we'll put this program almost to rest. Put it in there. I think we only need one in here and one here and one here. That'll look a little nicer. Let's put a little message here. We don't have to do this, but I'm going to put a message in here that says right line out of range input. And then I'm going to say right line resetting height to 72. which is what I made the default value to be. Okay, that fixed that. Let me grab these two lines and also paste them in here. Resetting weight to 175. Now let's try it and see if it'll look a little nicer. So if I put in out of range input, resetting height to 72, good. Out of range inputs, resetting weight to 175. Okay, now they're telling us to do it again. Let's put in 72 and 111. That's correct. 72 and 166. That's correct. 72 and 333. And that's correct. All right, so what do I want to fix here? After the please enter, out of range, etc., after all that stuff, I want to resetting. After I'm seeing resetting, I want to make sure I put a blank line after that. And then I'm just about finished, so we can start talking about it. All right. So run it one last time. I guess I don't even need these blank lines here, but 72, which is the default, 175, etc. Okay, so let's try 84. The person's 7 feet tall and they weigh 100 pounds. So their BMI is very small. 84, but they weigh 777 pounds. Their BMI is very big. 84, and let's say they weigh 290 pounds. Still a little big. Whoops. I hit enter there where I shouldn't have. As I said, I'm not really putting in any error handling code. Let's decompose this and take a quick look. All right. In main, I'm declaring my variables. The person's height, the person's weight, and the person's body mass index. Okay, so this is, notice I'm inside of main, which is my program driver. So I'm saying, put this into an infinite loop. Height is going to be equal to input height. Weight is going to be equal to input weight. BMI is going to be equal to calculate BMI, and that needs the height and it needs the weight. And display all will display everything. In fact, for the display all, I can get rid of these backslash n's after that one and after that one. All right, so that's main. So the first thing we call is input height. So here's the whole routine. That's everything. You can all see it all on one screen. So the minimum height that we're going to allow is 12. The maximum height we're going to allow is 96. The default height will be 72. So if we put in a number that's either less than 12 or greater than 96, we'll just set it to the default height rather than allowing them to keep entering and entering and entering values. I didn't want to do that. H is the height. Inputted height. So we say, please enter your height. We tell them between 12 and 96, and then we set H equal to, and we convert what they put in there into H. And if that value is less than 12 or that value is greater than 96, we just write them a message that says out of line input, out of range input, resetting, etc. I guess I could even put a backslash n there. And we set it to the default height, which again was 72. And we return H. That H that we're returning right there goes right into there. Right into there. Then we do the same thing, but with weight. Yes, again, I could put a backslash n here. But this one, we've got a minimum weight of 1, a maximum weight of 777, and a default weight of 175. Here's our weight variable. We tell them to input a weight, and we tell them it should be between these two values. All right, and then we verify that it is, and if it's not, We give them a message and we reset it to the default. All right, but either way we return. Then the next thing we say here is calculate the BMI with the height and the weight. And that's simply returning the weight times the height squared times 703. And then finally, we tell it to print everything out. So again, if we run this one more time, I'm going to save this and run it. And let's run it a few times and put good stuff in. So 72, 111. All right, they have a BMI of 15.05. 72, 177. They have a normal BMI of 24. 70. Oh crud. Yeah. 72 and 333, and you can see. If we put in a bad value here, it resets it, and it tells us to continue on. Okay, and again resets it and tells us to go on. All right. And the only bad thing is right now I didn't give myself an easy way out of this program. So the way that it was currently written, I exit it like this. All right. And that's it. So that's the entire program right there. Only about not even 100 lines. Okay, let's do a save all. File, close solution, file, new, project. This next we will be creating a Windows form app that will be called BMI GUI, and that'll be in 04 C# GUI. All right, there's the beginning of it. I'll be back with that presentation in just a couple minutes.